Before we get started on part 2, we got some sticker mail from Billy, and he's over at Knox Machining, is his channel. There's his little avatar. So it's Knox Machining, and he's also involved with the Knox Makers, which is I believe it's a community makerspace. They've got a nice little shop set up there, and most of the time when Billy's doing his videos, he's doing it from that little shop that they have. A very nice setup. He's been really busy, so I think he's only getting a video out like every couple of weeks. You know, he's got a lot of irons in the fire. But yeah, definitely check him out. Check out Knox Makers. Give them thumbs ups, subs, leave some comments. Good stuff. He's also been joining us on Harold's Amateur Redneck discussions on Sundays at 3 p.m. Central. Oh man, I almost forgot. So got a nice note, and we also got stickers from Old Iron Machine Works. That's Gary. He's in Rio Vista, California. He's got some great content. He makes some incredible finds at the scrapyard, and he's got quite a variety of machines and a lot of interesting things that he works on. A lot of big stuff. Yeah, so be sure to check out Gary over at Old Iron Machine Works, and give him a sub and a thumbs up and some comments as well. So I've got to figure out what I'm doing with my stickers. I've rearranged things. I'm out of space, so apologies, guys. I got a whole bunch of them here that I've got to find places for. We'll get there hopefully sometime in the next month or so. Yeah, too many things going on. All right, back to the project. We got our rotor here in the balance stand, and it's not too bad. Let me see if I can show you. It's just slightly heavy on one side. Where this epoxy is, seems to be the heavy side. Okay. Give it one more try here. It's not much because you have to help it a little bit to get it rolling. Alright, so we need to take a little bit of this epoxy off over here. I'm going to do that off camera. I'll bring you back. Okay, we've been working on this for a while, and I think we finally got it. It's stopping in a different spot every time when we spin it. Before it was always repeating, putting the epoxy on the bottom. And we've been trying both directions, and we've been flipping it end for end just to take out any variations. All right. Yeah, this has been rewound, so the rewinding shop, I'm assuming, put this epoxy in here to balance it. Kind of funky, but it's stuck on there good, so we're just going to leave it the way it is. All right, we're ready to put bearings on. All right, we're working on getting our bearing back on here. We've got our collar. I'm warming it up here on a drop light. Poor man's bearing warmer. And we got our new bearing. So this is a good way, you know, using warming up your bearings so that you get a shrink fit rather than a press fit is a nice low stress way to install a bearing. Less chance of doing damage. I think I'm due for some new scissors here. Sure, yeah, same one. Okay, so here we go. So I've got a little piece of tool steel underneath the light bulb to support it a little bit. And I've done this with some pretty big bearings on a light bulb. You just have to be careful you don't break the light bulb. If you use a drop light, rough service bulb, they're a little heavier duty and they got a rubber coating on them. So we're going to let that warm up a bit. We want to get it up to about 200 degrees roughly, maybe a little more. Usually like 220 is pretty much the max. These were not a real tight fit, so it should go on pretty good. And if we don't make it all the way with the heat shrink fit, then I've got a little sleeve here made up, just a piece of EMT, so we can go out to the press and just press it on the rest of the way if need be. All right, I'm going to let this warm up, and I'll bring you back when it's ready to go. Okay, we're about ready. We've already got our backing plate on there. Don't want to forget that. I put a welding blanket over that collar because it's not right on the bulb, so it wasn't heating as fast. All right, I already checked it. If you can touch it with your hand, it's not hot enough. This baby's pretty warm, so she's ready to go. Well, maybe not ready to go. All right, let's give it another 30 seconds or so. All right, let's give it a try. Okay, there we go. And do our collar. Okay, we're going to have to finish the collar in the press. But the bearing went all the way. Yeah, the collar wasn't right on the bulb, so it wasn't warming up as good as the bearing was. All right, I'm going to go press this on. All right, we got it pressed on the rest of the way. Just used our little piece of EMT conduit. The ends cut square. Worked like a champ. All right, let's flip it over and do the other side. All right, we should be ready to go here on the other side. This time we started warming up our collar before the bearing to try to get a little more heat in it since we can't get it right on the bulb with the bearing at the same time. Okay, so here we go. Okay, that one. Yeah, that collar is definitely more stubborn. All right, back to the press. All right, we're going to put a fork in it for today. We'll pick it back up tomorrow. I'm going to change out this switch. It's got a bad spot where it doesn't make good electrical contact. So I've already got a new switch that we're going to put in. Alright, so I'm going to do this off camera. I'm also going to, this motor's been rewound. It looks like they did a pretty good job. Not really crazy about how they did this part though. But we're going to stick to the prime directive. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're just going to put a little tape on these wire nuts just to make sure that nothing loosens up over time. There's two wave washers, thrust washers. I got a little bit of grease on them just to help hold them in there. Okay, I got my alignment marks here. Alright, I don't like that. I'm going to take it apart and have a look. Alright, can you guys see this right here? Right there. It's a piece of the binding string that they use when they're doing the rewinding. It was probably just loose and floating around. Anyways, it glued itself way back here in the laminations. It has nothing to do with the motor. It's just an extra piece of string, but man, is it glued in there. All right, I got to get that out of there because it's blocking our connecting bolt. See, there you go. Yeah, it's just a piece of string, actually two pieces twisted, and it's got the okay. We got a bad thread, but we got good threads out on the end, so I'm just going to put an extra nut on there. Let's see what happens. Okay. I just doubled up where the thread is bad. That nut's just going to work like a thick washer. Our only alternative would be to make another screw. Alright, it's just a grinder, so we're not going to do anything fancy on the paint job. Just a standard Earl Scheib's with this Not for Colby charcoal gray. Good enough. Had to do 3 coats because the lettering was showing through from the paint stick or whatever they used when they wrote on it. So, progress update on our grinder project. We got all the parts cleaned, and we did a Earl Scheib's paint job. Rust-Oleum charcoal gray, right? You guys remember Earl Scheib's? You'd paint any car, any color for $99.95. Okay, so what are we going to do next? What I want to do is test the motor. I want to get the electrical hooked back up, make sure the motor runs okay before doing final assembly. We've also got the table mounts. I've got to do a little work on these. These are not flat, so we're gonna have to. I'm gonna just try lapping them first. If that doesn't work, then we'll fly cut them. One of them. So I've been checking these. Now this side is flat on all of them, so we're good on that side. But this side where it goes onto the table, they've all got like a bow to them. So I'm gonna have to, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world just to use them like that. And it looks like, I guess these were machined at one time, although that might have just been the die cast surface. But we're gonna see if we can get these a little better. Either just put them on the lapping plate. If that doesn't work, then we will set them up and try to do a fly cut. Alright, so our table's cleaned up fairly well. Got a lot of the rust off. Just used Barkeeper's Friend. Took the paint off of these machine surfaces where the mounting brackets go, because that way they'll slide better. If it's a painted surface, it's going to be sticky, so we want to leave that natural. This one came out pretty good too. I mean, they're not, perfect, but good enough for a grinder. We got our end brackets ready to go. This one's been modified. So this side had the diamond wheel, so I think that'll be okay. Because the chances of a diamond wheel exploding basically is pretty much impossible. But this one is still original, so we'll keep our abrasive wheels on this side. And I'm working on the light, so I don't have it in front of us here, but I painted the other parts. Now this is the socket assembly. It's brass. I'm going to see if this will clean up. I think it would look nice if it was polished. So we'll do what we can. We'll we'll see how it goes. All right, so I'm going to work on the electrical next. Make sure that there's no issues with the motor before we start our assembly. All right, guys, it's moment of truth time. I have not tried this yet, so this is the first time plugging it in. So if it's going to go up in smoke, you're going to see it live here. Here we go. Hey, look at that. The light works. Okay. Put a brand new LED bulb in there. Alrighty, let's see what happens here. Uh-oh. Alright, so it goes forward and runs very smooth. I like that. We'll wait till it stops and we'll try reverse again. Now, I wired it up exactly the same way it came apart. Alright, here we go again. Okay, there we go. So, I don't know why it did that little hesitation on that first try. Hopefully that doesn't mean that we have some other issue going on. Let's try her again, forward. It's pretty smooth. It's got a tiny bit of vibration. Not bad. At least it's not trying to walk itself off the bench. Bring it in a little bit closer. Alright, I think I'm happy with that. I'll try it in reverse one more time. Alright, okie dokie.